Republicans have been very kind to me from the beginning. Even from the beginning, when Bobby was running as a Democrat, they weren't mean.
No.
And they never have been.
No.
And I can't say that for the Democrats.
I agree.
And it's
sad because it's not the Democrats we grew up with.
Right. Yeah.
And that's the difference that people don't, I think, see. They're like, why did you turn on the Democrats? Well, first of all, I didn't. Like I said, we voted for the same person. But I'm not going to pretend I don't notice how different they are.
Yeah.
How mean.
Yeah.
I think he actually wants more people around him for a stimulating conversation.
Yeah.
I was very surprised at, and mentioned it again, they hated me for it, that as opposed to so many important people I've met who, when you talk to them, you don't feel like they're really listening. They're kind of like, you know what I mean? And then when they answer you, it doesn't quite track, you know?
You're just waiting for their turn to talk.
Yes.
Bill Maher and Cheryl Hines recently teamed up to share their frustrations with the Democratic Party, and their conversation turned out to be surprisingly funny. Both longtime supporters talked about how they feel the party has changed in ways they didn't expect. They also discussed the rise in Donald Trump's support and explained why they've started to feel disconnected from a party they once trusted. Here's what they had to say.
One good thing about Trump, he really, really does not like war.
Which I love that about him.
I kind of do, because I don't want war either, and most of them are unnecessary.
Agreed.
I mean, he took a long time when I had that dinner with him talking about the pictures he sees coming from Ukraine, the stuff that doesn't get out on the news. It's like raw footage of bodies in the field.
Yes.
And you could tell it really moved him.
He's
like, I do not want to see this. And I'm the kind of guy who can fix this.
Interesting to see Cheryl Hines and Bill Maher openly admit that there are, now, a few things they respect about Donald Trump, considering how strongly both of them, especially Maher, used to criticize him. This shift stands out. For years, Maher was known for his sharp, nonstop commentary aimed at Trump and the Republican Party. But lately, a more thoughtful and less predictable version of Maher has emerged. This change has caught people off guard. He's gaining new supporters who appreciate his honesty, while some longtime fans aren't sure how to react. Even within his own political circle, opinions are split. Some think Maher has simply become frustrated with what he sees as mixed messages from the Democrats. Others believe his attitude softened after that much-talked-about dinner he had with Trump. Whatever the reason, the shift is real, and it's generating more discussion than anything, he said back when he always stuck to the usual party. Talking Points. Next.
He's never not going to be Trump. So of course he's like, I solved 9 wars. And, you know, okay, even if it's half that, it's still good that we're solving them and not starting them.
That's the thing that I find that I really like about President Trump when he talks about wars and talks about Ukraine. And he talks about Ukraine and Russia, and he will say they're losing people on both sides.
Donald Trump has often said he doesn't want the United States involved in long, drawn-out conflicts, and he's repeatedly emphasized that bringing the war in Ukraine to a close is one of his main goals. Whether people support his strategy or not, it's clear that his approach is changing the conversation. Maher pointed out that Trump's stance is very different from President Biden's, which alone suggests a shift in direction. Regardless of how anyone feels about Trump personally, it's hard to overlook that this situation resembles what President Biden had hoped to accomplish but wasn't able to achieve during his term. Biden pushed for diplomatic progress, but those efforts never fully came together. Trump, meanwhile, is using a more unconventional form of pressure, and it appears to be creating movement, or at least steering things onto a new path. If this continues, it could become a significant political win for Trump, one that may influence global politics as well.
Somebody was just asking me about when I met him, what surprised me the most, and I said I was surprised that he really likes to listen to people. He's very curious and what
they
you have to say.
They hated when I said that. Again, because I'm just telling you what happened. What, should I lie?
I guess so. I guess
right.
That's
He
what
kicked me in the balls under the table, and then
I knew he would.
He threw the spaghetti against the wall when I raised the subject of tariffs. No. No.
You can almost see the frustration from some Democrats after Bill Maher's recent remarks about Donald Trump. For years, many expected Maher to stick to the usual critical tone, but the moment he acknowledged that Trump can actually come across as friendly and surprisingly easy to get along with, everything shifted. Cheryl Hines has seen that side of Trump herself, and her experience supports what many people were hesitant to admit. Some assumed Maher would meet Trump, return with stronger criticisms, and double down on his usual commentary. Instead, he came back with a more balanced view, and that alone has upset some of his longtime supporters. What this really highlights is how some people form opinions about public figures. Their dislike for Trump isn't based on personal experience, but on what they've been encouraged to believe. And Maher's recent comments challenged that familiar narrative.net.
He listened.
Yeah, I think he actually wants more people around him for stimulating conversation.
Yeah.
I was very surprised at, and mentioned it again, they hated me for it, that as opposed to so many important people I've met who, when you talk to them, you don't feel like they're really listening. They're kind of like, you know what I mean? And then when they answer you, it doesn't quite track, you know?
We're just waiting for their turn to talk.
Yes.
This moment is both funny and surprisingly revealing. Most people know that politicians often enter interviews with rehearsed lines, set talking points, and a polished message they plan to stick to no matter what. It can feel like they're reading from an invisible script just out of view. And when an interviewer challenges them or asks something unexpected, many still refuse to shift. They repeat the same lines again and again, even when their answers don't really fit the question. That's when things get awkward. You can literally watch the mismatch happen, a straightforward question followed by an answer that feels completely unrelated but still on message. That's why this particular moment stands out. It shows how trained many politicians are to stay on script, and how refreshing it is when someone finally breaks out of that routine.
Just on a different level. I mean, these are show people too. I've had that. But I didn't get that with him at all.
No.
I got a guy who looked in my eye,
Yes.
was listening to what I said, waited until I finished, even when it was contradictory, when it was he never got blustery or mad about it. You know, he said some things that I don't agree with and some things that I think are just, you know, plainly not right, like, you know, third term. Yeah, I think you could do it. I'm having people look into it. No, you can't do it. and you can have people look into it from now until the end of time. It's like 12 words in the Constitution. You can't do it.